So in addition to all the controls that we have on the hardware of the Minitaur, we actually get the Minitaur editor as well, which is a piece of software that we can load up and has a few extra under the hood tweaks. So I'm going to load in another external MIDI instrument here in the same way that I loaded up the Minitaur previously. And on this external MIDI instrument channel on audio effects, I'm going to go into my audio units, Moog Music Minitaur editor, and when you purchase the Minitaur you'll get all the firmware that you need to install and update, and then you'll also get this Minitaur editor. So it's a software version of the Minitaur with some extra tweaks. So we've got this initial panel which is identical to the hardware, so everything we see here we see on the hardware, but then we have this under the hood section where we've got some extra controls, under the hood controls, which is really nice, and then extended, and this is a combination of the two, panel and an under hood really. So this is just everything, you know, all in one place on one page, which is quite nice. So let's go to this under the hood page, and actually also you can access the presets here. So I've got this long list of presets. Some are from Moog that come with the Minitaur editor, and some are presets I've saved myself. So let's have a little browse through some of these. I love this fifth stab that will no doubt be making use of the frequency of the VCO2. Very detuned stab. Quite a dirty sound. Acid bass. Go right down the keyboard. What I love about the Minitaur, it's great for bass, but it's also really nice for leads. So I use it for monophonic leads and bass sounds. And yeah, some really nice presets in here that just demonstrate what the Moog Minitaur is capable of really. And I noticed as well, looking through before, some sine stomps, some nice kick drums, probably much fatter than the ones I created to be fair, but yeah, really nice analog kick drum you could sample there. Taurus free bass, fat sounding bass sound, huge sounding bass. And so yeah, some really nice presets. You can save your own in here, you can store your own, you know, save as. You have this preset manager control where you can start organizing all your presets and what have you. And let's go back to this under the hood section. But this is what I really like, is these extra controls that we have in here. So I'm going to start off with this oscillators here. So say for we're looking at the VCO2 frequency control. We actually have 3 octaves to play with there. We can go 1 octave below VCO1. We can go the same pitch as VCO1, or we can go up 1 octave, and anywhere in between. But what you can actually do with this VCO2 beat frequency is you can tune whichever pitch the frequency is set to here on VCO2. You can tune this by plus or minus 50% for extra detuning. So say if you wanted VCO2 frequency up 1 octave but detuned, you can do that for extra bit of unison. Quite a nice sound. And you also have a note sync, which I can activate. It re-triggers the phases of both oscillators. So I guess a bit more of a consistent attack on the synth. And then we've got some extra tweaks for the filter here. So keyboard key tracking. So if you have this, filter quite down. If I have this up to 200%, as I move up the keyboard, the filter is going to be more open. down, it's going to be more closed. So that's like, most synthesizers have some kind of key tracking built into them, so you can turn that off here. So as I go up the keyboard, the filter doesn't open at all. So we can tweak the behavior 100% to 200% or down to 0. We can make the filter velocity sensitive, you know, harder key press, higher velocity, more open filter, and softer velocity, more closed filter, and you know, anywhere in between, some from 0 to 100%. We can set the velocity sensitivity of the amp of the synth. Let's make it really velocity sensitive. And again, anywhere between from 0 to 100%. Look in a later video about running an external audio source into the Minituar to fatten up the sound, give it a bit of analog warmth, and you can change the external input level here. And we've got some tweaks for the envelopes for legato. So we were looking at the glide before. Glide, we can turn legato on now, which means we're only going to get that glide when the notes overlap. And what we can do here is we can set the envelopes to re-trigger when we're doing legato notes. Two different settings for that. We've got keyboard response, so at the moment it's on last note, so if I'm playing legato notes, it's just going to respond to the next last note, MIDI note received. If you change it to high note, it's only going to respond to high notes. If I play a lower note, respond until I let go of the high note, and then you can reverse that behavior. Lower note, if I play a high note now, not going to respond until I let go of the lower note. You can change the pitch bend range here, and change it right up to say 24. And the same with the pitch bend down range. So that's quite nice to tweak that behavior. And we also have some different types of glide. So we have linear constant rate, linear constant time, and exponential. And the glide rate follows an exponential curve, so it's modelled on the behaviour of the glide in the actual Taurus synth. And yeah, the legato on or off button down here. And what I love as well is the option to MIDI sync some the LFO. So let's record in some notes here. I've just got a little beat here. So and just quantize these very quickly. So say let's set up a bit of an LFO on this sound on the filter. What we can do now is we can MIDI sync that LFO so it's synced to the host tempo, the speed. We can still change the rate. But it syncs to the host tempo, which is nice. And also you have a key trigger. So with that off, the LFO is synced to the host tempo, but it's just constantly cycling through that LFO cycle. If you add a key trigger, the new keys, new MIDI notes it receives, it resets the LFO cycle. So that's really cool. And There was also a couple of extra things, so stuff like this this VCO2 beat frequency, which we can access from the Minituar editor. We can actually access from the hardware too. And this glide button down here is a bit of a double function button really. So beat frequency there. I can actually, well no, sorry, the VCO2 frequency control. If I hold down glide and change the frequency, whilst holding down glide, it actually becomes the beat frequency. So you notice it's just applying a bit of unison there, obviously. The preset's freaked out a little bit. Let's load in a new preset. So glide double function button, it actually activates a few other things as well. So if you hold down the glide button and then change VCO level 1, that changes the external input level, and the trigger mode for the envelopes, you hold glide and turn the filter envelope attack, and that changes the trigger mode. And also this release button, we were looking in previous video about the decay and release button, how you can link the release to the decay, or have it off and then it's just decay. You have no release whatsoever. However, if you hold the release, you can change this behavior and you can split the decay and release controls. So there's two modes for this. If I hold the release, I hold it down, you see it blinked once, that's mode 1. And if you see I hold it now it blinks twice. That's activating mode 2. So hold it again, blinks once. Mode 1, control of decay and release time is linked. So this is the behavior that we're used to, that we were looking at previously, you know, with the light on, decay and release with the light off, it's just decay. However, hold it again, blinks twice. This is mode 2, and in this mode the decay and release controls are separate. So with this second mode activated, the release button is off. That means this is just the decay control. However, if it's on, it's now the release control, and it's completely independent from the decay. So really nice tweaks that just expand the capabilities of this synthesizer.